Hey guys, so welcome back. All right, so we've got this thing here, and we're going to see if we can find out why it doesn't work anymore. This is an Orbit model 56544. It no longer gives us any kind of display. And yes, we have new batteries that are in it. And looks like the contacts are reasonably clean, although it still looks kind of wet in there. Let me see if I can dry these contacts up and we'll see what we can get. But maybe it's just waterlogged. Maybe the valve inside leaked. I don't know. So let's see if we can dry this off, get some, maybe I'll just hook up directly to the contacts. Anyway, we'll see if we can get this thing to operate. So hang on a minute. Okay, we're getting nothing from that. Let's push the reset button and see if we get anything to happen. Reset button. Nothing happened. Okay, let's get this thing open. All right. Let's see what we got inside. I don't see any moisture. So we got a couple of solenoid valves. So just lift out. The knob, I think, would be on the electronics. Okay. We might not be able to fix this. Let's just see and figure out what happened with it. We got some goo pucky in here. So basically the valve assembly is all you get out of the back. Okay, looks like we got to go in from the other way. Well, we'll see what we can find out here. Let's see. Does this just pull straight off? Now let's see. We've got purposefully placed goo here. I suppose it's just glued in with this white junk. What is this, silastic? It might be. Let's see. Can't quite tell. Let's see if there's something there. Yep. Tricky. Tricky. Okay. Okay. Now what? Is this supposed to come out? Yeah. I was gonna say, what's the point of putting it there? Yeah, I'll bring you back after I get through all this stuff. Were you under the impression that this was made to be worked on? I'm going to have to cut these wires. Let's just do it. So we got some room to work. All right. Let's see if that helps us get a little bit of access in here. Somebody said, "Hey man, I just think people are going to have a hard time getting in here and work servicing on this." Somebody looked at them over the top of their glasses and said, "You've got to be kidding. You think anybody would go in here and try to fix this?" Yeah, man. I don't know where you live, but money's worth something here around here. If we can fix it, we can, but otherwise, I just thought, well, I think this is like the third one we've gone through of a various brand. I thought it'd be interesting. Let's just open it up and see what happened at least to this one. Okay, what's holding us up now? Just the wires. Sometimes it's nice to take things apart just for the hell of it, huh? Well, does anybody see our problem right off? Yeah, I'm going to say that's battery corrosion. This was delivered, I believe, with either batteries out or with new batteries installed, and it doesn't work. I don't know why. So I guess we know why. Focus. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it looks like a battery issue to me. Let's see if it's in here like this. And that meant this tray was in here like this. It was this contact here, which is the negative, and it says neg right there, ground. Okay. All right. Let's take these screws out and see what we see. Okay, so it's got a switch on it like a kind of like a multimeter has for going in between the panels of this contact plate. So here's the. It's nice that it's not attached where you had to pull it apart. That's neat. I like that. And this is our display. And here's this. Where's this contacts? I guess it's along. Oh yeah, it's along here. And then on the board, contacts are made right here. You can see where the corrosion has come through on this side as well. So I think it's probably pretty well roached. Okay, I'm going to put some alcohol on a swab and we'll see how it cleans up, see what it looks like. This is denatured alcohol. Okay, it's removing the conformal. Looks like the conformal is really only coming off where the battery leakage ate on it. So it's not like I'm removing it where it's not already damaged. See? And we can buzz out some of these traces and see where it's eaten through. Maybe see if we can repair a trace. We've identified the failure mode. Right. The batteries that are in there are not the ones that were the ones that leaked. They were replacements, so I don't know what brand. I'm sure somebody may try to draw a conclusion, but I'm not going to state it here since I don't know. It may have been what this was ever shipped with. It wasn't mine, so I don't know. It's kind of interesting. You can kind of go over this and find out where the battery juice got to, because it's causing the conformer to let go. Interesting. It went down into here at that test point. Yeah, this is a multi-layer board, and I bet it is. Yeah, I don't know, maybe not. It's not a complicated circuit, is it? And they didn't really have a tight spot to work in. Okay. I see one place where a trace might be broken right here. I'll clean that just a little extra. And I'll test it and see if it's corroded through there. I can't clean that anymore. I'll buzz that trace and we'll see if we get anything through there. I think we got most of it. If we need to get more off because we miraculously get this thing to work, I can go in there and be more specific with it. Okay, what we're going to do is there's a trace right in, there's some traces right in here that go to U4, which is, can't read any identification on it. There's a trace right here, a couple of traces right here. I'm going to buzz them and see if we can get anything there. So hang on a minute while I get something set up. Okay, I'm using a fancy device that most of you guys won't have. This is a capacitor wizard. It is a way of testing capacitors, basically electrolytic capacitors, and it does it by using a 100 kilohertz signal of a very low voltage. And the advantage of that is that because it's works like this, is it'll help test capacitors, but also because it's very low voltage, it's below the voltage that would activate basically transistors and diodes and things. So it's actually pretty helpful for testing circuits where if you use a ohm meter, it may actually have enough voltage to cause things to turn on. So it is pretty handy for tracing out traces like this. So I have gone through this and I found one trace that seems to be a problem. I'm going to zoom in and see if it's possible you can see it. So bear with me a second. I don't know whether it'll zoom in enough. Yeah, it's really small, okay? Okay, so where I was mainly concerned was in this area right in here, okay? And without me trying to show you, I have found that it does go through there. Let me see if I can possibly demonstrate what it should do. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, you see it comes on over here to this test pad point right here, or a via, and I'm going to put that probe into that spot. Okay, now I can see that some of the copper is exposed over here, so what I can do is touch it to see if it's making contact to here, and it is. Get my head in your way possibly, but let's see, get better contact. Okay, so that's making good contact, so I can track it down until I get to the pad on this surface mount device over here. Okay, so I'll show you that. Am I able to do that very easily? No, but if I short it to the one next to it, it doesn't really make any difference because they're not. See, if I go to the one right next to it up here, they don't beat, so they're not connected. So I just kind of come in here as best I can, and there I verify that it's making correct contact with that surface mount device. And I can do it to the next one over as well, and it's good. And the third one over, which is also suspect, and it's good. All right. So then I went around and tracked. All these other ones that are around. Sorry.
Then I went around and tracked all the ones that are around here. And then it got me down to these.
Okay. Hold on a minute.
I think you might be able to see the problem one now because I've been messing with it. All right. Can you see? I'm sorry about the focus. Okay, let me go over here. It has something with lines on it to focus on. Okay.
The problem spot, I believe, is right here.
See that right there?
Right. I'm going to do the one right next to it. Go here. And go here.
Okay. So that one's good. Try this one. Still good. Try this one. That was good. Let's try this first one. I don't get anything. And if you go just a little bit below where my probe is, you can't see why. It looks like the copper's gone there.
Let me go right below that spot. So I'm okay to here. But as I come up, there's a missing place there. And it does not jump the gap. So there is a missing bit of trace right there.
You see it? Okay. Let's see if we can fix that. Okay, so using this probe and visual looking, I verified that this point, where I've got this stuck, corresponds, it goes underneath the board, it goes from here through to here, and then it runs up to here. Sorry. It goes from here. Okay, try it one more time. It goes from here, on the other side of the board, to here, and then it goes up to here, and then that corresponds with a spot here I marked with a Sharpie, which is here. So we can prove that by going here and to here. Okay. See that? So what I can do is I can jump from this spot to this spot and bypass that trace. That might be the easiest thing for me to do. We'll see how that works. Okay, I've got some number 28 magnet wire that I've stripped the enamel off on one side and got soldered into here. See the connection there. And now I'm just going to route it over here and then do the same thing to this little point right there. And that should allow us to have the jumper connection we need. No, actually I want it right over here, don't I? Yeah, I need to go here. Glad I talked this through. Almost put it in the wrong spot. Okay, so we got that patch put in from here to here, which skips over the area where that was a gap. And we'll put this thing back together and see if it works. This is the other end here. The other end kind of came through near one of these pads for the display, and so what I did is made sure it did not stick proud and did the soldering from this side. And I went there and cleaned up the flux pretty well. And we'll see how this tests out. The enamel on here is good for insulation. I don't know if I'll go in and put conformal on here or not. It's not like I'm expecting this to last, but it was just kind of neat to see if we can fix this. So let me try to put this all back together again. I got to put these wires and reconnect them to the solenoid, and we'll see what we get. And I got the board back into the case, and I replaced the old wires that were going out of the PC board that I had to cut to get it off. So I put on some nice extensions so I can help wire the thing back up, and I'll join it up to the other side of the plate once I get it in place. So we're getting there. And I've got the pigtails terminated and just sticking them down into here. If I was to do this to where it was meant to last, I'd put some silicone down in here to control that, to seal that up. You don't want to use bathtub silicone. You got to make sure the kind that doesn't have acetic acid in, because that'll eat up the traces as it cures. It gives it off. They have special type stuff that doesn't damage electronics, or you might try hot glue. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not expecting this to be lasting much longer, but we wanted to see if we could fix it. And then if you want to fix yours or whatever, you're on your own. But we'll see if this works. That's kind of what we wanted to see. All right, so let me get this
put together the rest of the way. Okay. Okay. All right. Why are you not focused? Focus. There you go. Okay. So let's pop these in. And we'll see what we get. Hey, off! There we go. It looks like it's going to work. Well, let's see. How can I do this? Let's see. Set clock. Okay, we're setting time. Okay, that's fine. Next. Yeah, date. Okay, next. Okay. Start time. We have it set at 1:02. Can we start at 1:03? Oops, too far. 1:04. Okay, start time. How long? 1 minute. How often? It's telling us it's going to start in 1 minute. It clicked. It works. So we fixed it. The battery had corroded and ate away a trace. We found the broken trace. We bypassed it with a small bit of magnet wire, about this big, and put it back together again. And so, you know, basically, if you wanted to get this thing back in working order, you need to go in there and reseal everything so that the water doesn't get in there and roach your printed circuit board again. But that's what it was. That's what it took to fix it. So hope you enjoyed that little fix. Appreciate you guys watching. See you next time. Thanks. Bye. And yes, I did go in there and put the RTV in there to seal it back up. So that's all done.